Emma steps into the gleaming car showroom, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. But as soon as she walks in, the whispers and mocking laughter echo around her. A staff member crosses his arms, giving Emma a disdainful look from head to toe, smirking. Does she really think she's driving one of these cars? What a joke. Emma takes a deep breath, clenching her fists to steady herself. She lifts her chin, forcing herself forward toward the reception desk, every step heavy under the weight of piercing, judgmental stares. Emma walks up to the reception desk, her eyes still holding a spark of hope. "Hi, can I take a look at the latest model?" she asks softly. The receptionist glances up, then immediately crosses his arms, a smirk forming on his lips. "Are you sure? That model isn't really for people like you," he says, voice dripping with condescension. Emma's smile falters for a brief moment, but she tries to remain composed. "I just want to take a look," she says, her voice slightly trembling. At that moment, a wealthy couple steps into the showroom. The woman clings to the man's arm, adorned in sparkling jewelry and designer clothing. The receptionist's demeanor instantly shifts. His face lights up with a dazzling smile. "Welcome, sir and madam. Let me show you our most exclusive models right this way." Emma is pushed aside, as if she doesn't even exist. She stands there, invisible, watching as the staff fawns over the couple. The sting of humiliation settles deep, each word and gesture a painful reminder that in their eyes, she's a nobody. Emma steps out of the showroom, the chilly air biting into her skin. Her eyes are heavy with sadness, but she keeps her expression calm. She stands outside, looking through the glass wall. Inside, the luxury cars gleam under the showroom lights, symbols of wealth and success she once dreamed of. A group of wealthy customers laughs heartily with the salesman. Their joyful chatter echoes outside, like a slap in Emma's face. Emma's gaze drops to the ground. Flashback. Emma remembers the days of struggle. She and David started their business from a tiny, cramped apartment. David worked double shifts, while Emma sat at a small desk, calculating every cent to make ends meet. "As long as we don't give up, all of this hard work will pay off one day," David said, pulling Emma into a comforting embrace, his eyes shining with hope. Back to the present. Emma takes a deep breath, her fists clenched tight. A flicker of determination lights up her eyes. "I won't let their words break me," she whispers to herself. Then, she straightens her shoulders and walks away, each step firm and resolute, a silent vow echoing in her heart. Emma steps inside, closes the door behind her, and leans against it. The strength she had been holding onto all day crumbles, and she sinks to the floor. Her shoulders shake as tears spill over. David is sitting on the couch. The moment he sees Emma, he rushes over and kneels beside her. "Emma, what happened?" Emma lifts her gaze, eyes brimming with tears, her face a mask of pain and humiliation. They looked at me like I was nothing," she whispers, voice breaking. "Just because I wasn't dressed in fancy clothes, they treated me like I didn't belong there." David clenches his jaw, a storm brewing in his eyes as he takes her trembling hand. "Emma, listen to me. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone," he says, his voice firm but soft. Emma shakes her head, tears falling freely now. "But they said I wasn't good enough to even step foot in that showroom. I just wanted to find a nice car to gift your mom, but instead, all I got was their contempt." David takes a deep breath, his expression hardening with determination. "Tomorrow," he says, gently squeezing her hand, "let me show them what real worth looks like. I'll make them see that appearances mean nothing." Emma meets David's eyes, finding solace in the unwavering resolve she sees there. A single tear slips down her cheek, but the corners of her mouth lift in a soft, grateful smile. The next morning, the car showroom is bustling with activity. Luxurious cars gleam under the showroom lights, each one polished to perfection. A group of salesmen stands gathered around a newly imported Supercar, a one-of-a-kind model with a sleek matte black finish and aggressive, powerful lines. A crowd of wealthy customers circles the car, their eyes wide with admiration. The same salesman who belittled Emma yesterday is now enthusiastically introducing the car. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the only model of its kind in the entire city. And the price tag? Let's just say it's worth as much as a luxury mansion." A wealthy man in a tailored suit laughs loudly. "Well, I guess not just anyone can afford to drive something like this." The salesman smirks, nodding eagerly. "Exactly. This car is reserved for those with real class and wealth, not those who just pretend to be important. Laughter echoes through the showroom. No one notices that, on the other side of the showroom, Emma and David have just stepped inside. Emma is dressed simply, her expression calm and composed. David walks beside her, hands in his pockets, his gaze sharp and commanding. Little do they know, the man striding confidently toward the supercar is none other than its true owner. Outside the showroom, the deep, roaring sound of a powerful engine echoes through the parking lot, drawing everyone's attention. A sleek, jet-black supercar glides into the lot, its polished exterior gleaming under the sun. The car's presence alone exudes power, wealth, and undeniable prestige. Inside the showroom, the salesman who had been boasting about the new supercar freezes, eyes fixed on the car that just pulled in. The car door swings open, and a pair of polished black shoes steps onto the pavement. It's David, clad in a tailored suit, his posture commanding and his expression cold and unreadable. He adjusts his collar, his gaze fixed straight ahead, exuding the aura of a man not to be underestimated. Emma steps out from the passenger seat, still wearing the same simple outfit as the day before. Yet, her demeanor has changed. No longer timid, she stands tall, eyes unwavering. The salesman's jaw drops. He nudges his colleague, stammering, "Isn't that the same woman from yesterday?" And the man, he looks so familiar. The group of wealthy customers begins to whisper among themselves. Who is he? And how can he afford that car? And isn't she the woman who was treated so badly yesterday? What's going on? David and Emma walk in tandem, heading straight for the main entrance. The crowd parts for them, eyes wide, whispers following them like a shadow. Each step David takes reverberates through the showroom, a silent yet powerful declaration that the game is about to change. The atmosphere inside the showroom is suddenly thick with tension. The salesman forces a tight, professional smile, but his eyes betray a mix of fear and confusion. Sweat beads along his forehead as David and Emma approach, their presence commanding the room. David stops right in front of the salesman, his gaze cold yet composed. Standing tall, he locks eyes with the man, his voice calm but laced with authority. "Yesterday my wife asked you about this car. But from what I heard, you didn't seem to care much, did you?" The salesman swallows hard, his eyes darting nervously to Emma, the very woman he had dismissed just a day before. Now, she stands beside a man radiating power and wealth. I didn't realize she was." David smirks, a cold, cutting smile. He steps closer, leaning in just slightly, his voice dangerously soft. "The problem isn't that you didn't realize who she was. It's that you didn't think a woman dressed simply could possibly be a potential customer, isn't it?" The salesman stammers, struggling to find his words. "Sir, I just thought. I didn't mean to." David crosses his arms, his gaze as sharp as a blade. "Perhaps you should learn to treat every customer with respect. Not because of how they look, but because every person has value." Emma remains silent, her expression calm yet filled with quiet strength. Inside, a wave of emotions crashes against her heart, the sting of yesterday's humiliation and the overwhelming relief of finally being seen and defended. Around them, other customers begin to whisper, their eyes now fixed on the unfolding confrontation. The salesman stands frozen, his hands nervously fidgeting as David's words echo in the air. The salesman swallows hard, desperately trying to regain his composure. He quickly forces a smile, a strained, nervous grin that doesn't quite reach his eyes. He steps toward Emma, his tone now sickly sweet and full of false warmth. "I sincerely apologize for the misunderstanding yesterday, ma'am. If you'd like, I can arrange a test drive for you right now. This model is quite exclusive, you know. Not everyone gets the chance to drive it." Emma stands there, her expression calm, eyes unflinching. She watches him closely, the man who had once dismissed her as unworthy, now tripping over his own words in a desperate attempt to win her favor. She smiles, a soft, gentle smile, but with a hint of sadness. Her voice is steady, yet each word cuts through the air like a blade. "No need. I'm not interested in this car anymore. I just wanted to remind you that not everyone can be judged by their appearance." David stands beside her, his eyes cold and intense. He says nothing, but his mere presence is enough to make the salesman squirm uncomfortably. The man nods repeatedly, his forced smile faltering. Yes, you're absolutely right, ma'am. Around them, other customers begin to whisper, their eyes fixed on Emma and David. Some of them recognize David, the billionaire known for his no-nonsense approach in business. The murmur grows louder, and the salesman visibly shrinks under the weight of their gazes. Emma turns away, her posture composed and dignified. David gently places a hand on her shoulder as they walk out together. Behind them, the atmosphere remains thick with tension, and the eyes of everyone in the showroom follow Emma, the simple woman who just taught them a powerful lesson about respect and the dangers of underestimating others. Emma and David walk out of the showroom, the sunlight streaming onto Emma's calm face. She takes a deep breath, feeling as if a weight has been lifted off her shoulders. David gently takes her hand, his eyes filled with pride and warmth. "You did amazing, Emma. They've learned their lesson." Emma glances back through the glass doors of the showroom. Inside, the salesman still stands there, his face flushed with embarrassment. He sighs deeply, rubbing his forehead as if berating himself. The crowd of customers continues to murmur, occasionally glancing toward the entrance, where Emma and David just exited. Just then, a middle-aged woman in simple, modest clothing enters the showroom. She smiles kindly and approaches the reception desk. The woman says to the salesman, "Hello, I'd like to inquire about the white family car over there. It looks perfect for me." The salesman looks up, his eyes still slightly unsettled. But this time, instead of sneering or dismissing her, he forces a polite smile, nodding courteously. "Of course, ma'am. Let me take you to see it right away. It's a great model, and I'll provide you with all the details." The middle-aged woman seems surprised by his sudden kindness. Other customers around the showroom notice the change in the salesman's behavior, whispering among themselves. Outside the showroom, Emma and David continue walking away. Emma offers a gentle, soft smile, but a trace of sadness lingers in her eyes. Though they have left, she knows that the message about respect and not judging people by appearances has started to ripple through the crowd. Emma and David sit in a cozy cafe, the soft sunlight filtering through the window, creating a warm and peaceful atmosphere. Emma gently stirs her coffee, her gaze distant, lost in her thoughts. David reaches across the table, taking Emma's hand in his. His eyes are filled with concern as he speaks. "I can't stand seeing you treated like that. You don't deserve to be looked down upon like that." Emma offers a faint smile, but there's a hint of sadness in her eyes. "You didn't have to do all that for me. I don't want people to think I rely on you to prove my worth." David squeezes her hand gently, his expression firm yet tender. "Emma, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You've built yourself up from nothing. I just wanted them to see that true worth isn't defined by appearances or what you wear." Emma meets David's gaze, her eyes shimmering with gratitude. "Thank you. I just worry that people will look at me and think I'm just some woman riding on her husband's success." David shakes his head, his voice warm but resolute. "They can think whatever they want, but I know who you are, and you deserve respect, no matter what you wear or where you go." Emma lowers her head, feeling a surge of warmth in her heart. No matter how the world judges her, she knows that David will always be her unwavering support. The car showroom now appears vastly different. The staff member is attentively assisting an elderly customer dressed in simple, worn-out clothes. The old man isn't wearing a fancy watch or any luxury brand clothing. The staff member leans forward, wearing a genuine smile. "Sir, this model suits your needs perfectly. Would you like me to walk you through its features?" The old man nods, his eyes warm with appreciation. The staff member no longer displays the condescending or dismissive attitude he had the day before. Instead, he exudes sincere respect and genuine care. From a distance, the showroom manager stands with arms crossed, observing the scene. A soft smile appears on his face as he nods approvingly. He steps forward and pats the staff member's shoulder. "Well done. This is how we should treat every customer, with respect, regardless of how they look." The staff member nods, eyes reflecting a mix of embarrassment and determination. He glances over at David's supercar parked outside, a stark, gleaming reminder of the lesson he learned the previous day. He takes a deep breath, closes his eyes briefly, then opens them, silently resolving to himself, "I won't judge anyone based on appearances ever again." In the sunlit living room, Emma sits at a wooden desk, her laptop open to a blank social media post. Beside her, David gently places a steaming cup of tea, then takes a seat next to her. Emma takes a deep breath, her eyes distant. The memories of yesterday play vividly in her mind. The dismissive glances from the showroom staff, the condescending words, and the powerful moment when David stood by her side with unwavering pride. David rests a comforting hand on Emma's shoulder, his voice warm and calm. You don't have to prove anything, but if you feel like sharing, speak from your heart. Emma nods, regaining her composure. She places her fingers on the keyboard and begins to type. Yesterday, I walked into a luxury car showroom wearing the simplest clothes I own. I was ignored, belittled just because of how I looked. But I learned a powerful lesson. True worth isn't determined by what we wear, but by how we treat others. She pauses, her eyes welling up slightly. Memories of their early struggles flash before her, days of working tirelessly to build their business from scratch. Emma continues typing. There was a time when I had nothing but faith and perseverance. Yesterday, I was reminded that we should never let appearances dictate how we treat people. Emma hits the post button. The message appears on her profile, accompanied by a photo of David's supercar and the bold caption. Never judge anyone by their appearance. David smiles, squeezing Emma's hand gently. You just turned your experience into a powerful message. I'm so proud of you. Emma leans her head against David's shoulder, her eyes shining with newfound purpose and hope. The small but cozy house is bathed in the warm, golden light of the setting sun. Emma and David step inside. They both change out of their fancy outfits, slipping back into their comfortable, everyday clothes, simple, unpretentious. Emma sinks into the chair by the window, her gaze fixed on the fading horizon. The bustling showroom, the whispers, the condescending glances, all have faded away, leaving only the calm of the evening. David walks up behind her, gently wrapping his arms around Emma's shoulders. She leans back against him, releasing a deep sigh. You didn't have to do all that for me, Emma says, her voice soft but filled with emotion. David leans down, pressing his cheek against her hair. I didn't do it just for you. I did it because you deserve respect, Emma. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Emma closes her eyes, letting the steady rhythm of David's heartbeat calm her. But I'm so used to being overlooked, David. Today was just another reminder that people only see what they want to see. David gently turns Emma to face him, his eyes sincere and warm. Emma, from the very first day I met you, I fell in love with your simplicity and your kindness. It's not the clothes you wear or the car you drive that defines you. It's your heart and your soul. Emma smiles, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. She wraps her arms around David, holding him close as if drawing strength from him. David gently strokes her hair, his voice a low, comforting murmur. We've been through so much together, and no matter what anyone thinks, I am always proud of you, the strong, incredible woman you are. Emma steps out onto the small balcony. She gazes up at the night sky filled with twinkling stars. The gentle light casts a soft glow over her face, reflecting a newfound sense of peace and clarity. David walks up behind her, carrying 2 steaming cups of tea. He hands one to Emma and leans against the railing beside her. You know, Emma says softly, I used to think that being wealthy, wearing fancy clothes, would earn me respect. David chuckles, shaking his head. But true respect doesn't come from material things. Emma nods, her eyes now shining with determination. I've realized that a person's worth isn't defined by what they wear or own. It's defined by how they treat others. David squeezes Emma's hand, his gaze filled with pride. And today you showed them that. I'm so proud of you. Emma smiles, her eyes warm but resolute. It's not the clothes, the car, or the appearance that defines a person's worth. It's their heart, their kindness, and the way they treat others that truly matters. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it to spread this powerful message. Thank you for watching.